Hey, what's going on, guys?
Coming back at you for the second time in 2 days out of 8 months. I believe I'm smoking some Margate. Can't be sure because you tend to forget what's in what jar after 8 months when they don't have labels. But it's the only one that I knew for sure was Germain's and didn't have a topping. Not a label either. The other ones that didn't have a label had a topping, so they were either select mixture or 20th anniversary or possibly cognac, even though I do have a or a jar of cognac with its labeled, so I'm not sure. I'm drinking a whole pot, 4 cup pot of in my Stanley coffee cup of home roasted beans. I've been buying the Guatemalan single farm, comes from a single source. One plantation produces this coffee bean in Guatemala. You can get it on Amazon, 3 pound bags. And I just put it on one of those round perforated pizza pans and roast it at 500 degrees in my electric oven for about 8 to 12 minutes, about 10 minutes, and it comes out great. Um, does come out a little uneven, but it seems like the lighter ones counterbalance the darker ones and make what I want, and I get a little bit more nuance out of it. And I'm smoking out of my K Woody Super Grain pot, which I didn't even know I had, but fantastic smoker. It's like got a 4-hole stinger. It doesn't say drink with on it, so it's a little bit newer of a 4-hole stinger, but it is a super grain. Smokes English is like a champ, like an absolute champ. Right now, I don't have any cream or milk, so what I did was my dad has some homegrown honey that he gets from his boss, who's a beekeeper. He keeps bees as a hobby. So I poured that honey in there to kind of mellow out the bitterness, round out the flavor, kind of how whole milk or cream does, and it just tastes wonderful. Especially with a good English blend. Which I'll tell you now, my next video is going to be Brevia Flake number 9, which is at least a year old. And it says natural sweet Virginia tobacco and a good portion of Syrian Latakia are pressed and aged together. So can't wait to try that. Check out the nuances of the Syrian. It's been such a long time since I had Syrian tobacco. Or Syrian Latakia, as they say. We used to take it for granted, but now we cherish it. Although they may, one day they'll probably start making it again. As long as we continue carrying the torch with pipe smoking, um, eventually they'll realize there's a market for it and they'll continue to produce it. Once things stabilize in that region, I guess you could say. Anyway, appreciate Belvoir for pointing out what kind of a locomotive that is, which I've always been a train guy. I've always loved trains. Even when I was a kid, Thomas the Tank Engine was my favorite show. Used to go to, we had a hobby shop here in town called the Train Depot. Used to go there and just I fell in love. Used to love going there. My parents would take there if I was good. They would take me there. Anyway, he pointed out, and I was kind of hoping somebody would point out the backdrop, how it's the Night Scotsman, which was, I believe, was a real line that that left King's Cross nightly, at 10:25, and I don't know where it went. Must have probably went to Scotland. Maybe stopped off a few places on the way. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit. Say hey to all the guys who've missed me and said so and posted, because I have missed the YTPC. I have missed it. I miss making the videos. I miss belonging to the community. Um, I really haven't been watching YouTube all that much. And you guys know how it is. You only have so much energy. And you can only devote it to so many things. Well, what's been happening is I've been devoting it to a lot of different things. Been messing around with computers. I've been just doing different stuff. And anyway, I realized that I was getting further expending my energy on my YouTube channel than I am now with other things. One of my favorite channels is Gray Bailey, George Bruno. I've always liked his channels, or his channel. I've always liked his outlook. Um, and I kind of want to emulate that channel a little bit. I do. I want to do tobacco reviews too. But at the same time, I want to be sort of a father confessor. That's a wrong word, wrong term. A guy that makes you scratch your head. And I see a psychiatrist, and last time I saw him, he told me that out of every patient that he sees, that I'm the only patient that actually takes stock of themselves, that actually looks deeply introspectively into themselves and figures out why they feel the way they feel, what it is that they feel, and how I can correct it. Because if you're feeling bad, there's obviously, it's a consequence of something that's happening to you. And I've started to realize the more aware that I am, the more that I can change things. The more aware of what's making me feel the way I feel. which I'm kind of like Mr. Bruno is. I try not to be all feelings. I want to be more detached, not let my feelings rule me, but rather the other way around. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, but sometimes it does. Actually, probably my favorite part of doing a YouTube channel is the comments, to hear what other people say. And it's amazing to hear the different hobbies and what people notice. The fact that somebody noticed what kind of a train that was behind me just from a poster, a silhouette, if you will. I mean, he knew what model of steam engine it was. And that to me was pretty cool. And it happens all the time. It happens all the time. People notice something and make a comment. And I'll show you guys what I found. I found a little bit ago. My dad, when he used to smoke cigarettes, Marlboro used to give away a lot of stuff. Well, he got a Swiss Army knife, Marlboro Swiss Army knife, which I thought was just the coolest thing, which I've commandeered and is now my Swiss Army knife. But it's got a corkscrew, a reamer, and a sewer. It's got a hole in it so you can sew crude things with it. I use it to ream my pipes sometimes. It's got a screwdriver, a bottle opener, a can opener. There's the bottle opener. There's the can opener. One's a big screwdriver, one's a little one. Here's a little blade, super sharp too. I don't know how I got it so sharp, but it is sharp. Here's the big blade. Not as sharp, but will get it done. And I do sharpen my own blades. I have I believe a 2,000, 8,000 grit and a 10,000 grit block whetstones. Ah, cheap Chinese whetstones, but they work. I'm gonna call this the luncheon show. Sultan, he calls his the daybreak show. This will be. I'll try to get this so you can do it in your lunch break, but this Margate is wonderful. Nice and heavy. Goes great with a cup of coffee. And I realize that I enjoy pipe smoking way more when I have a beverage. Whether it be bourbon on the rocks or VS cognac. Sometimes I'll have that. I never drink a whole lot. It's just like may take a droplet at a time and just let it permeate in my mouth to get the flavors. Same thing with the bourbon. Same thing with coffee. Same thing with tobacco. Hopefully I can get this past 400, the channel subscribers, because right now I'm stuck at like 388 or 390. I know I was at 390 at one point. And I want to get back into it and put some effort forth, use some of the energy, the finite amount of energy I have throughout the day towards this. especially towards this time of year when there just isn't that much going on in the tree care industry. And that may be one of the reasons why you don't see me so much in the summer, because I just don't have the energy, maybe. It requires a lot of energy to burn 6,000 calories in a day. I mean, when you're burning 6,000 calories in a day, you don't have room for much else. In fact, video games, I don't even have room for it. It requires too much of my attention. Movies is about all I can take. I can't even read a book because it requires too much attention, too much energy. Um, but I'm definitely not gone. I'm not lost. It's just been life. I went through a little bit of a depression. Lost a dear friend of mine a few months back, so who I've known since kindergarten. Lost him to natural causes. He was younger than me. I'm not even 30. So I had to start seeing life from those perspectives, that it is finite. I may not live till 30. Not only that, but, you know, I know that some people enjoyed my channel a lot. And I don't want to deprive them. If they derived entertainment from it, I don't want to deprive them of it. I know I don't really do anything special on this channel. I just kind of spout off my opinion about tobacco, life, but I would like to start doing stuff like I said, roasting my own coffee, or even just letting you guys in a little bit more to my life. I'm joining a pool team tonight, a pool league, excuse me. I'll have a team. I've been invited by several other members of the team, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I need that social contact. Kind of one of the things I missed about YouTube. I kept getting comments from people. I haven't put a video on in 8 months, and I'm still getting comments. I'm still getting feedback. I'm still getting questions. And that kind of made me want to start doing videos again, because I enjoy answering the questions. I enjoy replying to the feedback. Man, this pot smokes so good. It really does. For those of you that don't, or are just starting to smoke pipes, if you want my advice, pack it too loose, because you can always tamp it down. If you pack it too tight, you got to dig it back out, and it ain't the same because you've already lit it and charred it. Whereas if you pack it too loose, you can always just tamp it a little bit and tighten it up, which is nice. When you do pack it too loose, you always get a good smoke because you tamp it just the right amount to where it's got a good pull. You get a good amount of smoke. And I tell you, roasting your own coffee is good. It is good. This Guatemalan single source stuff from Amazon. I think on Amazon they only have 2 or 3 different raw coffee beans that are prime. And the one I got was 3 pounds from Guatemala. So if you want to try it, you can. It's not hard to find. And like I said, the way you do it is you put your oven up to, if you have a gas oven 475, if you have an electric oven 500, you put it up to 500. You put a single layer of beans across the cookie sheet or a perforated pizza pan, and you wait till it preheats and stick that bad boy in the middle rack, and you'll hear it pop like popcorn. After about 10 minutes, you pull it out or you check a couple times, make sure it doesn't burn them to a crisp, although you can always pick those out later. But the key from there is to cool it down as quickly as you can. As quickly as you can. And the way I was doing it was using metal colanders or uh, screens, metal screens that they use for baking for powder and stuff when they shake powder on stuff. Using those and just pouring it back and forth into each container so they cool down because they continue to cook after you pull them out of the oven. They're still hotter than all hell because they've been at 500-degree heat, and you want to cool them down quickly before they overcook. Now, cooking is a preference. It depends on where you like your coffee. Me personally, I've always liked French roast, Italian roast, medium roast sometimes, like Jamaican Blue Mountain, stuff like that. Never been a big fan of breakfast roast. There's not a whole lot of flavor to it, although uh, light roasts have more caffeine. So if that's what you're going for, light roasts aren't bad. Light roasts would be ideal if you're looking for caffeine, which me, I'm not really. I drink caffeine when I need it. I don't want to get to the point where drinking caffeine is like drinking anything else. It doesn't do anything to me. I want it to be able to give me a good punch when I need it. Like at work, a Red Bull, like in the morning I feel groggy, boom, pound a Red Bull and I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't want it to get to the point where I drink Red Bull every day and I need the Red Bull or else I won't even feel normal. I want it to do what it does and not wear that out, I guess you could say. Right now I'm having a hard time keeping this lit. Which, like I said, I bought 2 tins of these when they were still selling them. I don't know if they still have them, the Latakia Flake, but I am looking forward to trying this. It's a 50-gram tin. I haven't opened it. I've had it for a year, or almost a year. I've got a bunch of stuff that I meant to try a year ago, but haven't. I've got a year-old Regent's Flake, a year-old Quiet Nights, 2-year-old Vauqueries. I've got a bunch of good C&D mixes that are old. And also for you cigar hounds, I've got some cigars I might do some reviews on. So there definitely will be content in the future. For those of you who miss me, for those of you who enjoyed my channel, there will be more to come. I'm not leaving you hanging. I'm going to get back in there and give it the old college try, which I plan on doing that Brevia Flake before I go down to the pool hall at 7. And that's Florida time, so if you're California, that would be before 4 o'clock. But until then, I don't want to keep rambling. Your boy Treetop Piper, over and out.